What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have my 250-hour update of Dreaming Spanish, or my ALG test. It's kind of the same thing at this rate. Here is the series. If you haven't seen it already, this will be the 6th video. Yes, the 6th video in this series, which is going to be going on for a while. For those who keep asking, in fact, how long do I plan to test this for? Well, I'm going to do the entire roadmap. I'm going to go all the way down to 1,500 hours, and then from there, I guess I'll have a community vote on what I should do next with Spanish. But yes, that is the plan. Now, let's have a look at my current progress. As you can clearly see, I'm at 250... Oh, wait, no, I'm not quite. I'm at 248 hours. So what's going on there, Evildea? You friggin' liar, you fraud, coming in here with a 250 update when you're at 248 hours, Well, realistically, what's happening is I will finish these off tonight. I promise, guys. Like, pinky promise that shit, okay? The reason I haven't done it yet is because it's getting late here, and I don't want to be doing this video around midnight and pissing off my neighbor. Like, he's already angry enough with me because the other day my cat literally shredded his arm, so I don't want to be keeping him awake. So I'm going to get the update out first, and then I promise tonight, pinky promise, double pinky promise, I'll get those last 2 hours out. Okay, so let's talk about my progress so far, what I've noticed. At 205 hours, I noticed, well, I actually started to recognize the numbers 11, 12, 13, 14, and I believe 15. Specifically 11, 12, and 13. Like, I can recognize them without any issues now. In my previous update, I recognized that there was something different with the pattern, but now I can actually recognize those numbers. Additionally, I started moving more and more into the intermediate series. And if you have a look here, okay, so I want to show you something. If I go into the watch section, you'll notice that I've got it actually sorted by old and intermediate, because originally I literally just had it sorted by difficulty. I'd just be doing like this. But when I moved into the intermediate, I actually kind of struggled a bit because... I don't know. Well, it's just like, it was just not, there was too many words I did not know and I couldn't quite get enough for it to actually be engaging. But when I changed it to old, like hundreds of these old videos by Pablo, literally just sitting in a park or walking around the markets and stuff, where he talks about various topics popped up, and I started watching them, and they're actually fully comprehensible, like almost completely comprehensible immediately for me. And I was like, oh, okay, so I just started watching these, and I've done this for like 20, 30 hours worth of just like Pablo walking around the same goddamn park. I swear to God, if you gave me a piece of paper and pen, I could draw out that damn park for you. Never been there in my life, but I could draw it for you. Okay? I know it's got some fake ass rocks, let's just say that. So anyway, I've watched a lot of those, so if you're making that jump into intermediate and you're struggling, recommend you go by old rather than just going by the difficulty filter. Now, I want to talk about series as well, because I actually had something interesting happen. If I have a quick look at my list. Okay, so around the 220 mark, okay, when I started going more and more into just looking at the series themselves, I actually started to struggle outside of those Pablo videos, not because like of language, but just because of engagement. Like, a lot of these things are literally of no interest to me, okay? And it's kind of hard to describe, okay? So I'm going to say some stuff, it might sound a bit sexist, okay? But in general, you know how, like, women in general have certain types of interests, and then guys have certain interests, and then, of course, there's a crossover, and people kind of, you know, sit everywhere between. But, like, I feel like the vast majority of videos on Dreaming Spanish, and specifically the series and stuff, is more catered towards one gender, okay? And I think that's just a natural result of the fact that most of the teachers on here are actually female. There's, like, literally one teacher apart from Pablo at this level who's a male. And it's just like most of the series are either about things that are more of interest to females than to me. Like, I don't want to know how to make dresses, okay? Like, this is not a series that would be of interest to me. Okay, well, maybe, you know, in my spare time I might play around a little bit with it, but like in general, okay, guys, like there's no series on here about fixing cars or doing anything like that. There's no gaming series. There's a couple of gaming series, and most of them are just like, you know, Starview Valley type. Yeah, literally here, the Starview Valley type of stuff, okay? Cutesy games with colorful, like, palettes and stuff like that. That ain't me. I want blood. I want gore. I want shooters. I want that stuff, okay? I want the hardcore type of stuff with good stories. This is why I love Spanish Boost Gaming, and I've mentioned him several times so far, because he plays a variety of games. And there was one series that was made by Pablo where he played a horror game, and he made a series of videos. Loved it, okay? That's my jam, man. Give me that shit. Now, I'm not interested in most of these series. There's only so many travel vlogs that a man can watch before a man gets sick of watching travel vlogs, okay? Like, it's just not for me. And, like, there's lots and lots and lots of food stuff. Now, I know lots of people love that stuff, but food, really, it's not my forte, okay? And funnily enough, me being a lover of languages, that's what I love, okay? There's actually very little about languages on here, or just talking about languages in general. There is some series, and I've pretty much watched them all, but like, there's not that much, strangely. I would find, like, wouldn't that be of interest? I don't know, maybe I'm just special and weird in that way. Anyway, one series I did absolutely love is, let me just go see if I can find it. Where is it? Okay, maybe I gotta jump ahead a little bit. Keep jumping. Sorry, guys, about this. Okay, here it is. Spyfall. Now, I discovered this series at, I think, like 220 hours or something like that. And it was actually at the end of my daily grind session, because I do 3 hours per day. And also, like, at 250 hours or something like that, I started watching this. By God, I love this, okay? This is where they get, like, all the different teachers together, and they have, like, this kind of, you gotta figure out who's the spy. It's like Last of Us or One of Us, you know, these types of things. It's, like, a really cool series. It's got, like, suspense, humor, like, intrigue, all that type of stuff. I freaking loved it, watched it. I've actually watched it a second time. They've got a first season, watched that one as well. And that's another thing, also. I feel like the series list doesn't include all the series. Even when you go view all, there's like series lists missing, because when I go to the watch section, I watch videos, it will say it's part of an intermediate series. I'll click on it. I've never seen that series before in the list. So I feel like there's something going on with the website there. But anyway, I feel like there needs to be more diversity of content. Okay, a few other things that I kind of noticed is, I think it was like at 220 hours or something, like, yeah, around 220 hours, I actually understood the word for left. Like, as opposed to right, okay? So, for some reason, that word took forever to enter into my brain. I can recognize it now, although it's very blurry in my recognition of it. If they say it, like, once, I probably won't, like, register it, but if they say it, like, a second time and another sentence after that, I'll be like, oh, that's what they mean. You know, it's kind of, like, pretty hit and miss on that one. Additionally, I've started to notice that some verbs in Spanish, the endings actually change. Now, I knew they changed before, even before starting this challenge, because I knew, like, Spanish had conjugation and all that type of stuff, but I've actually recognized some of the patterns now. Like, there's a pattern that's like ends in an R sound and an ear sound or something like that. I think it's something to do with infinitive verbs. I'm not sure, but like maybe, like, I'm not sure. Like, there's some weird ass patterns going there, but I am recognizing that there's a pattern, and that's always the first step. Recognize a pattern. Okay, and now I'm pretty much into just intermediate videos. I haven't gone back to beginner videos in about 30 hours now. I might go back. There is a few series that I might want to watch, because okay, so like some of the advanced beginner videos are actually a lot harder than some of the beginner intermediate videos. So I'll probably go back and watch those soon, just when I run out of content, I guess. Okay, so let's do a little test. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. Around 220 hours, I did an A1 speaking listening test just in YouTube. Like, I just found some random video, listened to it. I had no problems with A1 listening. I then did A2 listening, and it was kind of like hit and miss. So I'm somewhere around A1 in listening comprehension at the moment, but a little bit further than A1. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to pick one of these videos, stolen on my first day of school. Okay, let's listen to this.
Hola. Hoy os voy a contar cómo conocí a un amigo, supongo que mi mejor amigo.
Okay, so he's saying he wants to tell us about how, like, he knew one of his friends, and it seems like this is going to be his best friend.
Amigo, durante la escuela, durante el instituto.
While he was in school or in the institute. Why does this keep popping up? That's annoying. Oh, god damn it. Now if I click it, let me guess.
¿Cómo lo conocí? Como fue una manera un poco rara.
So, he met them in a strange way.
De conocerlo. Y esto fue mi primer día en el instituto.
So, the first day in the institute, I'm guessing that could mean something else. Obviously, I'm picking that one up as a cognate from English, but everything else is like, I've actually picked up in Spanish.
En la secundaria, ¿no?
Okay, in high school or secondary school.
En España tenemos 6 años de escuela primaria.
So there's 6 years of primary school.
Los niños van a la escuela de los 6 a los 12 años.
So they go from 6 to 10 years old in primary school.
Y luego tenemos 4 años de escuela secundaria obligatoria.
And then... Okay, so then there's like 4 years of secondary school, which is I'm guessing obligated.
De educación secundaria obligatoria, que llamamos ESO, las siglas educación secundaria obligatoria, ESO.
So he's just saying that's what it's called, like secondary obligated school or something like that.
Entonces, la secundaria es el instituto. También lo
Okay, and the secondary school is institute, I guess.
llamamos instituto. El
Okay, so it's called institute.
sitio, el lugar donde estudiamos la secundaria.
And it's where you study at your secondary.
Y esta historia, fue mi primer día. Mi primer
Okay, so this is the story of his first day.
día en secundaria. Yo fui al instituto, yo estaba en el aula, en la clase, sentado con mis nuevos compañeros de clase.
So on his first day, he went to class and he was sitting in his classroom with his new, classmates.
Y en un momento me cambié de asiento. Me fui a otro asiento.
Okay, so there's a few words in that make it, so cambier or something like that. There's a few words in there that make that sentence incomprehensible for me.
Me di cuenta que me había olvidado la carpeta.
So he remembered something about a card?
Tenía mi carpeta, ¿no? La carpeta se abre y en la carpeta se ponen papeles. Es un sitio donde se ordenan papeles.
Okay, so there's some type of tool that's for like ordering your paper.
Que pueden estar ordenados, hay varias separaciones y se ponen papeles en una carpeta.
Okay, so he's describing whatever this object is. So this is something that I've not heard of before, but I'm starting to get a visual image of like what that actually is. I'm guessing it's like something for holding papers.
Pues me había olvidado mi carpeta. Ah, mi carpeta. Volví a la otra mesa, al otro pupitre. Un pupitre es una mesa de la escuela, una mesa.
Okay, so he's obviously left it behind, and now he's going to go to the other table.
De un instituto, de una escuela. Las mesas en la clase, donde están los estudiantes.
Okay, so it's in the tables. And he's, you in school, you got those like little tables with chairs and all that type of stuff all connected. That's what he's talking about.
Se llaman pupitres.
Yeah, they're called pupitres.
Yo fui al otro pupitre donde estaba sentado antes.
Okay, so he went to a different one when he was previously. Anyway, I'm not going to go through this whole video, but as you can see, there's like some parts that I fully understand, it's fully comprehensible. Then there's other parts where like I'm literally getting introduced to new words as I make this video. And then some parts where it's not comprehensible at all, like that sentence. And I guess I'll just have to come back to that at a later point. Well, I probably won't come back to it, but I will pick up enough of those words that if I did come back, I would recognize that. Okay, so that's pretty much my 250-hour update. Now, I know this one's probably shorter than my other updates because these last 50 hours, like, I've definitely made progress. But the progress is becoming harder and harder to describe at this point. Like, it's like this, when you're in those early stages, it becomes very easy to describe because it's like, boof, like there's this entire new function of the language which just comes alive. At this stage, it's basically like, I get like 90% of a sentence, 100% of a sentence, and then like freaking 30% of a sentence, and then like 70% of a sentence, and then 90% of a sentence again, you know what I mean? Like, and then halfway through, I might be literally picking up things as we go. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Oh, one interesting thing the other day, I was literally on the train, okay, and here in Sydney, and I overheard a conversation that was happening, and I was not tuned into this conversation at all, but I heard them speaking, and I knew what they were talking about. It was in Spanish, because they were just talking about literally what was happening at their university, in their university class. I was just like, holy shit. Okay, I understood that Spanish conversation. Like, I didn't get the whole lot because it was a very short conversation. It was quite far away, and I think they got off pretty early. But, like, just the fact that my ear instantly caught onto it was kind of cool. Like, that's a happy thing, you know? And one last thing, because people always think I'm being really negative about this, guys. I'm being realistic. One thing I think this method has going for it over any other method, okay, is the fact you can just be a lazy mofo laying in bed, just watching videos, kind of half tuned out even if you really want, and you still keep learning. It does take a lot of hours though. So it's a trade between, are you going to do a lot of hours and like be a bit lazy about those hours, or you gonna go do some other method that I've spoken about and I've done before where you do a lot less hours but you do them a lot more diligently. This is the lazy fat man wanna have a beer type of method. Like, that's what I do like about it. But it is lucky that I do have the hours to spare per day, and realistically I don't think you could do less than 3 hours. Like, otherwise, you're not going to feel that progress. I feel like the 3 hours per day, that's a sweet spot. I've thought about doing more, but I feel like that's too much with my current lifestyle. And anything less, I wouldn't get that progress. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you all in the next video.